right, so you know that vehicle and you know this man, Mr. Tyler with Bronco Buster, and you on the channel know I've been skeptical. I've said this on live streams that I'm skeptical about it, but he may have convinced me that I want this product. So if you guys know, if I say like I feel comfortable selling it to you, that you might go get that. So Tyler, thank you for doing this, by the way.
Absolutely.
You just came in from Moab, the Easter Jeep Safari. So
drove straight through 28 hours. We were tired.
How fun is it to like go, oh great, now we just got to go on the other side of the world and let's talk more Bronco? Because after a while, you can probably get Broncoed out, right?
I don't get Broncoed out. I probably wear my wife out. She's like, I'm ready for some sleep. And I'm like, no, we got 28 hours to go drive now. And then we got to drive back to Moab. So.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Well, yeah. Man, living the dream for some. So you guys know the Bronco Buster. Now, the tie rods have been breaking like left and right. People just doing, seems like simple obstacles they're breaking. Obviously, Ford's got an issue there with maybe some thin components, but it's not just there, it's also into the steering rack. So, Tyler, show me this Bronco Buster. Tell me about it. Why should people really need this?
So, two reasons. So, number one, I say the most important part is the bushing.
Yeah.
Because, you know, here's the steering rack, right? You have that steering rack, this is how it sits in the vehicle, and you can kind of see the rack comes in and out as you turn the wheel. This is the pinion gear. And, you know, in stock formation, we're not seeing breakage. Now, here's a tie rod actually came off this week from Dana Spicer's. We went out and fixed that.
I do. They're going to miss that. I really feel like they're going to miss that socket.
They need that socket back. So, Matt, I'll work on getting this back to you. No, but, you know, realistically, what happens is as soon as you put lift on, doesn't matter 2-inch or what, leveling kit, and you increase that angle, it's like a pry bar. You are literally, as you're locked, and we know that in an IFS vehicle, we were talking about this a few minutes ago, hop, you stop, right?
Yes.
You get a little bit of hop, and that wheel catches, that momentum, that energy transfers up, and now it breaks. So this here is when it's, you know, the casting before it breaks. You know, pretend that's all welded, you know, it's all in place in one casting. Now you get that energy transfer, bam, break this off. Now you got no steering or intermittent steering.
And I'm gonna play dumb here. So this needs pressure to keep on
that, because that's called your slack adjuster. That's what adjusts how much slack you have in your steering. So over time, as things wear, I don't know how it works on a non-serviceable rack, but on older vehicles, you would actually adjust it right there and adjust your slack.
Okay, so what you're saying is when you start in a perfect world, this is fairly plumb.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of angle. You start increasing that angle. The more you increase it, the more stress that you put, because look at the angle of the teeth. You know, the teeth are right on there, and that transfer of energy comes right up and pulls that slack adjuster.
Right. So guys, when you're lifting, everybody wants to, you know, get the lifties on these things, but you start doing it, you're just creating problems. So first off,
a simple bushing. I mean, this is a Delrin product. You know, it's an acetal plastic, you know, more wear resistant than steel. You know, the tie rod comes off. You know, you watch my videos, I've got to pull that out. And then this drives in there. It's pressure fit. It's got a snap ring that holds it in place. Now it captures that in place, centers it in the rack to where it can't put pressure to blow this out.
Right. Okay. And is there some give and take with that plastic too? So when it's pushing, obviously you said it's stronger in steel, but is it flexible enough to give and take?
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why we used an engineered plastic and not steel, because steel and steel, of course, would be a bad idea. Yes, we've now loosened up the tolerance to where you won't feel anything in your steering.
Okay.
Early on, we had a few people, because like I was telling you, there are some differences from one to another. This can be milled up to, you know, 4,000, 5,000. Yeah,
there's some. It's not a perfect world. We are.
You know, you think about 5,000ths an inch. You can't see 5,000ths an inch. It's very small, but 5,000ths an inch in here can make it tight enough. And so we've made that change to where it's, you know, Terry experienced it. We pulled his out and put a looser one in.
But so first off, is that's one of the fixes. But your biggest, most visible fix are.
So yeah, this is the one everybody likes because you can see it. It's like jewelry
flashy
on the front.
Yeah, exactly.
It's flashy.
We're bling culture, man. We gotta have some bling.
Yes, I say this is most important because this is an expensive steering rack.
Yes.
You know, technically the way the law reads on Magnuson law on, you know, if you alter your vehicle and the alteration causes a failure, technically Ford or any manufacturer doesn't have to warranty it.
Right.
So lift is technically causing the failure of the steering rack and causing the failure of that bushing. So depending on your dealership, they may say, sorry guys, you lifted it.
Yeah.
You're not warranted. Now, if your dealership did it, they're probably going to warranty it because they're going to not say, well, I lifted it. Right. You're not warranted, right?
Right.
But I say this is the most important. Second most important is breaking a tie rod on the trail is never a fun thing. You know, these guys, Dana last week, they had to call somebody out with a welder, and they came and put this on and welded it because they didn't have an extra tie rod, right?
And
so,
trail fixes are they're just trail fixes. They're to get you home.
Get you home, you get back, I get a call from Dana, you know, we fix them. But with this, guys, I'm telling you, I can't break a tie rod. There's no way you're going to break a tie rod.
Yeah.
You know, we're running 40-inch tires. We're doing crazy extreme trails. There's no way you can break a tie rod with one of these.
Right. And they simply just clamp on here.
They clamp on to a tolerance. You can see that gap on top because it's literally clamped on tight to where you don't have any movement in there. So it's like adding a gusset to a truss, I guess is the best way to put it.
And how did this idea come to you?
So I was one of the first ones to break. The blue one there, if you look on...
Here, let's walk around here real quick. Because this is the one, you're known for this truck. Like, the orange one's new to me, and I've seen your wife's white one, but this one is the one that you're known for.
This is the Bronco Buster. So back in September of last year, if you Google broken Bronco, you're going to see pictures of this all over the place. You know, the wheels spread out. Everybody knows of that. Right. I was frustrated. I was one of those that was blaming Ford at the time and saying, what the hell? This off-road vehicle and that, look at that dinky tie rod.
Right.
And later come to find out, well, it's because I put lift on it that I broke it, right?
Right.
But it took many iterations. I mean, I tried my own Heim joints. I tried other people's Heim joints, which I found out with Heim joints, I was putting a lot of pressure and breaking the bolt at the knuckle. Right. So that wasn't a solution. Or I blew the whole housing apart because it's like a tight rubber band. There's not enough articulation. It would blow it out. So my idea for that came about day after Christmas. I'm lying there in bed in Montana. We had just had Christmas. And I'm like, I got to come up with a better solution. I had the fix for the other. I got to figure out this tie rod, and it just came to my head. I'm literally, it was like a 2-part piece that clamps over, and
it's so simple though. Like
I know people like this is stupid. It's too simple. It's not going to fix it.
Yeah, because some people think it's got to be overly complicated to fix a problem.
Right.
So I do want to stress too, because I've watched some of your videos and I've been kind of critical of this truck. Guys, you see all this stuff on here? They're just trying things.
So we're experimenting. We're bump stops, experiment stuff.
Because you were talking about you were trying Heim joints, right? And you were just flex. You weren't getting the flex you wanted, right?
No, this tire droop right here, it would be like a sprung rubber band, and I would be, you know, articulated out.
Because I think I seen that in one of your videos. Yeah, you could just see the thing was just maxed out.
Right, and it broke that, or I broke 2 steering racks by the housing up in there, just literally pulling the whole housing apart. And I experienced that on my wife's. I just decided Heims were not a good solution. I couldn't seal off the rack. It was getting water and snow and ice in there and salt.
Can you talk a little bit about, I know in the community, I'm in the community, I see you in the community all the time. Can you say why you would not recommend Heims? Because old school off-road is Heims. Heims were better than anything else. They were just the bee's knees for fixing this
and it's
stuff. Great
for like the F-150 Raptor because the Raptor design is a whole different rack, number one. But for the Bronco, when you want a lot of articulation, there's really a couple reasons. You're not able to seal off the rack good enough. Now, I know some of them have come out, so I will say now that's changed a little bit. They have different ways to seal it off better. So from what I understand, that problem's been solved. But a Heim joint, there's no way to grease it really. You got to
keep it in there.
To keep it in there, keep grease there. So you're constantly servicing them. They rust. Again, you've got a lot more articulation in that stock ball joint than you do that Heim because you got that bolt, you know, and that Heim bottoms out on that bolt. Biggest reason for me is if I can come up with a solution that I will not break a tie rod, and I'll say that publicly, you cannot break a tie rod.
Okay.
And without changing your stock formation, without changing anything on your warranty, because if you put a Heim on there and you blow your rack out, they're not going to cover your steering rack.
Oh yeah.
You know.
So obviously you fix one thing, it always like starts drawing attention to another thing. And I think
100%.
you were saying CVs is probably where the next.
No, yeah. Look at my CV angles right now.
Yeah.
I mean, they're extreme. They're. I mean,
well,
right now I'm
this
flexed
is an extreme
out.
vehicle, so I don't want to.
Right. But I will say. I put about 600-700 miles this last week at Moab, and I did not break a CV. I actually tore a boot. I had to go into the guys there at the BFG tent. They fixed me up. They were awesome guys. But I tore a boot, but I didn't break a CV. But I'm also again, not too much throttle and not hammering it, because you don't want to break that.
Yeah, and
They're hard to put in and they're hard to get.
And yeah, right now parts are just like crazy.
Right.
So would you recommend the Bronco Buster seems like is for more if you're planning on actually off-roading it, not just down fire roads or service roads. Like,
yeah,
I know there's a lot of people out there that are so scared now because of the attention, not that you've drawn to this, but just they see them braking. They're people who's never off-roaded before. They're like, they're kind of panicky. Like, did I just pay $50,000-$60,000 for a vehicle that's not capable of it? So daily use.
Daily use? No, you don't need it. I mean,
he wants to sell you a product, by the way.
Yeah, if you want to buy it, great. But I mean, daily use, off-road, like I said, doing the service roads.
Yeah.
No.
And that's something I want everybody to know. Street, don't feel like, oh my God, this thing's going to fall apart on the street. No. The Bronco is a nice vehicle. This is for people who are going to push it a little bit. Maybe.
Yeah, if you want to go out and rock crawl and you put a little bit of lift on there, then yes. If you're in bone stock configuration, then you probably don't need it. But would I say it's good insurance? Yeah, I mean, it's good insurance if you're going to go out and rock crawl it in bone stock. But the failures is any lift, bigger tires, or wheel spacers. Because guys, you understand wheel spacers too, and I'm running wheel spacers. We have our own wheel spacers that we run. But wheel spacers then move that tire out, which then adds more stress to your tie rod. So you're going to have problems with wheel spacers too if you don't do some upgrades.
Well, where can they find your product?
www.broncobustertx.com. And we keep plenty of inventory in. We've got hit pretty hard with inventory this week after
I bet.
Easter Jeep Safari. A lot of breaking and a lot of orders. But we're working very hard to keep the inventory up. Usually within 4 to 5 days, we can have orders in somebody's hands once they place the order. So.
Right. All right. So I've been sold on this. They're still pricey. I'm not going to say they're not pricey, but you do get what you pay for. It's a nice material. It's not like it's just some Band-Aid thing they've put together. And some guy in his garage is just trying to like sell you on something you don't need. So go check them out. If you feel comfortable with it, I feel comfortable now after talking to Tyler about why, and we've talked privately a little bit more in depth of why that it is. We'd be here all day just like talking, because I feel like Tyler, you've told the story many times.
I've told
over
it a
this
lot of
week,
times.
past week. I feel like it's scripted in your brain. But go to Bronco Buster, check them out, and maybe you'll see them on our truck real soon.